where do I begin? Let's have a look at the layoffs, shall we? Boom. All right, so let's take a look at what BioWare said in their BioWare Studio update. I will read it for you and then I will translate it for you because this is corporate bullshit. So, BioWare Studio update. Hello everyone, get fucked. Today we are turning towards the future and preparing for the next chapter in BioWare's story. As we announced in August 2023, we are changing how we build games to meet the needs of our upcoming projects and hold ourselves to the highest quality standards. Are you? Are you though? Let's fucking delve in further. Now that Dragon Age: The Veilguard has been released, a core team at BioWare is developing the next Mass Effect game. So everybody who's telling you that BioWare is shutting down, fucking liars. I'm sorry. BioWare is now transitioning from having multiple projects all at once to having one project at a time. I think it was Mark Dara made a video about it on YouTube, I think, showing the structure of how BioWare has moved throughout the years, going from working on multiple projects at once. So like when a game finished, the devs would start work on like DLCs and stuff. We know that Veilguard isn't going to have any DLCs and stuff. Like they've pretty much put Dragon Age to bed at this point to fully focus on Mass Effect. So Mass Effect is in production, early production granted, but BioWare is not closing. They are focusing on Mass Effect, which is a huge weight on Mass Effect, because if Mass Effect doesn't perform, then I don't know how they're going to recover. But let's read on. BioWare is developing the next Mass Effect game under the leadership of veterans from the original trilogy, but not the people that wrote it. Not the people that wrote it though, right? Not the people that wrote it. So think of all the characters that the devs who have been let go wrote. Like didn't Trick Weeks co-write Garrus Vicarian? Morden fucking Solus? What veterans are still there? Let's read more. So, including Mike Gamble, recently tweeting replies to Elon Musk, but that's neither here nor there. Preston, I'm not going to try and butcher people's names, but Derek Watts and Parishley and others not listed here. These are the only ones that matter, apparently. In keeping with our fierce commitment to innovating during the development and delivery of Mass Effect, we have challenged ourselves to think deeply about delivering the best experience for our fans, but not us. Not us. No, fuck your representation. You guys don't get it. Sure, we are taking this opportunity between full development cycles to reimagine how we work at BioWare. To reimagine how we work at BioWare is a red flag to me for a multitude of reasons. Because what are you reimagining? Are you reimagining storytelling or are you reimagining other things? Do you know what I mean? Are you reimagining how the game works? Because EA have been trying to make Dragon Age a multi-online player game now for years. That's what they wanted for Veilguard. They wanted it to be an online multiplayer game until they scrapped it. So, like, is that what... Are we getting... I swear to God, if Mass Effect turns into a multiplayer online game... But maybe they're just reimagining what they want for their storytelling. Maybe they're just reimagining other things. But let's stay calm and keep reading. I'm sure it'll explain itself in a minute. Given this stage of development, we don't... Oh, where's my tea? We don't require support from the full studio. Cool, so move them to other projects. Move them into other things. A lot of the devs that wrote Dragon Age also write Mass Effect, so just move them over to Mass Effect, right? Nah. You're right to smell bullshit. We have incredible talent here, but none of that woke shit at BioWare. And so we have worked diligently over the past few months to match many of our colleagues with other teams at EA that had open roles that were a strong fit, but not the writers though. Now, fuck the writers. I know that some of the team did get moved over to other projects, but I don't think they got moved over to Mass Effect. But I can't say that for sure. That's pure speculation. But today's news will see BioWare become more agile. What the fuck does that mean? More agile? What, they're going to be doing fucking cartwheels or something? Focused studio, a more agile and focused studio that produces unforgettable RPGs. You've already produced unforgettable RPGs, and you know who fucking wrote them? Everyone you fucking laid off. We appreciate your support as we build a new future for BioWare. Fucking Gary McKay! Or if he was Scottish, it would be Gary Mackay, but he's not. So, general manager at BioWare. Now, like I said, this is a whole lot of corporate bullshit from BioWare right now, and I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate being spoken to like I'm fucking thick as shit, because there's been unrest. And again, pure speculation, but from what we've seen, hold on, bit of insight into coding. Agile is a coding methodology that revolves around building incrementally in short cycles, referred to as sprint. Okay, I will let that one slide, but I thought we were going to do a dexterity saving throw here as they jump through all of these fucking hoops to try and convince us that they've not just laid off all of their writers, like every single one. Forgetting who got them there in the first place. Incrementally, thank you. I swear English is my first language. I think what hurts most about this is how much hate the devs and fandom have had to deal with pre and post Veilguard. It's a final kick in the balls. Well, exactly. Like, if you're in a situation where you're getting inundated with disquiet, shall we say, to say it as politely as possible, then why would you fucking stay? If there's better opportunities for you elsewhere in an environment where you can make the games that you want to make and not be crushed for it, then you would move on. I totally understand that. Less fantasy games, more sci-fi fiction games. I don't know though. It's weird wording to say, hey, we fired a lot of people and now we're just going to... But why were so like, let's backtrack for a split second. Most of the diverse representative writers are now gone. So why are these people left? Like, it's giving me oh no. There's been an awful lot of tension and stuff, I think, at BioWare now for years. Do you guys remember Inquisition was in production and the big crunch for the devs to get stuff and things done for Inquisition, and how they wanted to integrate the multiplayer aspect into Veilguard and into Inquisition, and no fucker used it. I mean, maybe a couple of people used it and liked it, but really, when they announced that Veilguard was going to be a multi-online player, I think everybody kicked off. Nobody wanted it. Throwing Dragon Age into multiple production lines, like not only just for multiple player games, but then they scrapped that and then they had to like reboot it and then reboot it again. It's just, it feels like a conflict of interest. And I've been saying this for years. It feels like the devs want to make one game and EA wants them to make another game. But it's not just EA. Not a lot of people are talking about this cunt. Are talking about the higher ups at BioWare who are just as liable for like this conflict of interest. People will attack the devs because they're easily accessible, they're online, there's a face and a name to attack. People need scapegoats, and that's what, unfortunately, I feel that this is. It's a scapegoat. Like, that's all this whole thing boils down to, is that we're in a political climate right now where, unfortunately, the scapegoat is inclusion. And I'm worried that BioWare are moving away from inclusion. And in like a couple of years, unless Mass Effect turns out to be utter trash, because I trust, here's a huge spanner in the works. Here's a huge spanner in the works. And I want you guys to walk with me through this one because it's going to sound bizarre. But if the anti-woke crowd get a game that is completely anti-woke, that has no representation in it at all, and they still fucking hate it because the story is bad or the game is bad, it's fucking... Do you know what I mean? Like, if it's over. The anti-woke crowd say we just want a good game, but they'll blame inclusion in games as to the reason why the game is bad. If Mass Effect turns out, if Mass Effect goes full the other way and it turns out to be just a exclusive white man shooter and they still don't like it, it's... When Mass Effect comes out, BioWare is either going to be praised by the anti-woke crowd for pandering to them and for making a game that is exclusionary and basic as shit, or they're going to hate it, because I trust that at the end of the day, if a game is shit, they will call it out. They'll cry that they don't have an alien wife to bang. Oh, I fully believe that they're going to get alien wives to bang. But somebody in chat 5 seconds ago mentioned AI, and I am nervous about AI. EA have already mentioned before that they are including AI into their business. They did like a whole show about it where this guy demonstrated, I know that the screen's slightly off, but this guy demonstrated like a whole thing about...
We call this space imagination and creation. To bring this to life, let me show you a concept video that stitches together some of our more exciting experiments in service of imagination to creation. Let's take a look.
Hey, what if we made a game out of cardboard boxes?
Yeah, let's do it.
Make a maze of cardboard boxes. What do you think?
Not bad. But
Hold
maybe
on, let me make this larger for you guys to see.
a bit more complex. How's that?
What if we make it multi-level? Whoa, let's give that one a go.
That's cool. All right, who are we gonna play as? Make 2 characters with weapons. I want...
Okay, let's see.
Is this our Mass Effect that we're getting? Is this Mass Effect 5? Is this it? It better not be. Is this how Mass Effect 5 is being made?
Here we
Oh, I
go.
like this one. Not
Now
that
my
one.
weapon of
How
choice.
about... Ooh. Not bad, not bad.
Okay, that's cool, but how do we fight? Show me 1v1 combat options.
It should be a death match.
Right?
Here I come.
You gotta find me first.
Wait, what if we made it so we could only die from a grenade?
Oh, now I'm definitely going to win. Add a rule that you...
Again, very, very huge speculation on my count. But the first red flag I got when you start to remove people is, are you bringing new people in? Because there was like a whole argument that, you know, new talent will bring in new stories, will bring in new things. And yes, but are they bringing in new people or are they bringing in AI? AI, I feel like they are using AI. I'm a programmer. I can understand practical applications of AI, but this is not it. Yeah, but it's when it's replacing real people. The other thing that flagged in my brain was, do you guys remember when Veilguard was right before Veilguard came out, a lot of the voice actors in Veilguard couldn't promote it because they were on strike. They were on strike to try and get more rights for voice actors and people in the gaming industry, protection against AI. Like, it's not just... They are still on strike. Yeah, the strike is still going. I'm just worried that you're right, Jojo, that Mass Effect 5 is going to look like Halo 6. The strike is still going on. but it's a strike for protection against AI. So I think, again, this is pure speculation and I'm just piecing together the things that I'm seeing. If the devs and the voice actors are worried about the the introduction of AI into gaming that's going to replace them, then it's already happening. Like, they wouldn't be striking against something that wasn't happening. They want protection against AI. It's their, at the end of the day, it's their livelihood. That this is where they get their paycheck. So what I'm worried about with BioWare and all of this corporate bullshit is they're clearing out the representation that's in the team. The disquiet that's been going on, the conflict of interest between the higher ups at BioWare and the developers who want to make one game like this, and the higher ups want to make their game like this. And then people striking against AI. What I'm worried about is that all of these layoffs are a representation purge, and Mass Effect is going to lean more towards not us. And if the anti-woke are allowed to complain about a game not representing them, then surely we are too. But I don't see that they'll see it that way. So I'm very worried. I'm very worried about BioWare right now. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of people losing their jobs for seemingly no reason. I wonder, because like I saw a couple of posts online about the devs that left voluntarily, feeling that they weren't, like, again, speculation. They were in an environment where they didn't feel either appreciated or safe, I guess. So they left to find places where they would work better, I guess. I'm starting to feel like Corin was forced out. Hope she's okay and thriving as best as she can right now. I read Corin's statement saying that she had moved on to another development team, like an opportunity came up that she couldn't pass up, so she's gone off to somewhere else that I hope will appreciate her a whole lot more. But it does make me wonder how many of them felt like they weren't safe, isn't the right word, but you know what I mean? How many of them were in an environment where they weren't allowed to represent? And again, it comes down to a whole bunch of things. Like, it doesn't matter if you didn't like Veilguard, that's fine. Harassing people online is never okay. It doesn't matter if you absolutely hate the story of Veilguard, you hate the artwork of Veilguard, you hate the writing of Veilguard, it's totally fine. But saying trans people don't belong in games is never okay. Saying women don't belong in games is never okay. Saying people of colour and the black community don't belong in games is never okay. So we're not even going to pander to that. We're not even going to acknowledge those arguments. What I'm worried about is BioWare is. What I'm worried about is Mass Effect 5 has an awful lot on it right now. And normally I would be very excited for a new Mass Effect, but after reading this, I'm not. I'm very, very skeptical of BioWare as a company, of EA as a fucking company, and where the franchise is going. Obviously, there is the wait and see tactic, like just sit around, wait and see what happens. For all we know, the next Mass Effect will be a fantastic game, but it's not going to be the BioWare that we know anymore. And I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. But right now, I don't like this. I don't like this guy. I don't like how all of this is worded. I don't like his smarmy little name at the bottom. A lot of people have lost faith in BioWare right now. A lot of people have. And honestly, if they start replacing people with AI, I'm out. If they start telling me that I don't belong in games as a trans person, I'm out. I don't know if I could. It's the same reason why I put down my Harry Potter books. Do you know what I mean? Like, EA needs to sell the IP. EA will never sell the IP. I don't see that ever happening. EA is weird with stuff like that. EA just lets things sit. The way that EA is going, it kind of just makes me think that, you know, EA have turned their baseball cap backwards and gone, hello, fellow kids. We're cool and let us show you. Here's Mass Effect. Look how anti-woke it is. You guys like this, right? Give me your money. It's so sad because I'm fairly new to Bioware's games. I fell in love with Dragon Age and Mass Effect was about to have me, but this just makes me feel like icky. I don't want to feed into it if this is the direction they're going. I know it's difficult. EA is like a child. If I can't have it, no one can, right? Though I did like playing Anthem. Good. People say that nobody likes playing playing Veilguard. Lots of people like playing Veilguard. It's almost like it doesn't fucking matter. But it matters to CEOs because the only thing that matters to CEOs is money. And if they're not getting money, they don't care. I'm pretty sure this guy got a fairly good paycheck, and now he's just fired a lot of people who now have to worry about theirs. Trick is one of those developers that got laid off, unfortunately. Not just Trick, but Karen as well. So that's both of them laid off at the same time, where the higher ups and the CEOs don't have to like fucking worry about their fucking paycheck. But now the writers do. I am now looking for a new writing narrative position. It has been a privilege to work with so many amazing devs over my 20 years at BioWare, and I will cherish the memories of the wonderful folks in the community I've met along the way. Thank you all. Trick has written in every Dragon Age, every Mass Effect. And by firing them, not only have you lost a good writer, even though good writer is subjective, I get that, but hear me out. You've lost all of that knowledge from day one of writing that story, of writing the characters in Mass Effect, the story of Mass Effect, where Mass Effect was going. It's now gone. I'm sure that they've got like backups and like notes and things and stuff, but it's like, is Mass Effect 5 just going to be an adaptation? Like when they did, not to compare it to Game of Thrones, but like Game of Thrones was good when they were following the books. And then the last couple of series of Game of Thrones, when there were no books and they were just adapting things, they just had like George R.R. Martin's notes to work with. So they were like, oh, these are the notes. And then they made a hot pile of garbage. I hope that they're not going to be like looking at the notes of Mass Effect from all of these writers that now are no longer there and making a season 8 of Game of fucking Thrones in Mass Effect form. I will absolutely cry. This is the season 6 of Game of Thrones, but BioWare, like The Witcher, the showrunner thought they could do better. Dude, I genuinely see BioWare going one of two directions. It's either going to be loved by everyone who hates everything that we are, or it's not going to survive. It's not going to survive. Mass Effect 5 will be the final nail in the coffin, I think. If BioWare goes in a direction that is exclusionary, then what the fuck ever. What the fuck ever. It doesn't matter if you didn't like the writing and stuff. It doesn't matter if you didn't like the art style. It doesn't matter if you didn't like it as a game. What you do with that is you put it down and you fuck off. You don't then go on the internet, find people that do enjoy it, and then like rip them a new one. That's just not it. However, like I said before, with the current political climate that we're in right now, trans people and inclusion as a whole has become such a scapegoat for things that are going wrong. Like Donald Trump literally blamed a plane crash on DEI. He said it must be the inclusion, that's why the plane crashed. Like, what the fuck is going on with the world right now? We've been a scapegoat now for everything. Veilguard didn't perform the way the EA wanted, so instead of EA saying, oh shit, maybe we should like calm the fuck down a little bit, they're like, no, representation is the problem, out. And then fires fucking everyone. Again, that's speculation. But that's how it feels to me, especially with reading something like this. Just say you laid people off, my guy. Just be honest. Just say it. What's with all this bullshit here? I'm genuinely worried. How do you guys feel? I wish I had more positive things to say to you today, but unfortunately there just are none. There just is none that I want to form a coven. A lot of people liked Tash. It's nobody's business which characters you like and don't like. Tash wasn't my favourite, but I'm not going to sit here. I've always said that on this channel, that it doesn't matter what character you like. If it's a character that I don't like, you'll never get shit for it. I don't care. We're all different. We all have our own lived experiences. We're all fucking grown adults. If you like a character that I don't like, you're not going to get shit for it, and I expect the same back. And that's just how we've always been here. That's just how it's always been. And unfortunately, Tash wasn't my favourite. But I didn't like Iron Bull either, and I know that I'm in the minority for that. I know that everybody loves Bull. I don't. Speaking of Iron Bull though, oh man, it's just so weird. It's like my whole Dragon Age life is flashing before my eyes right now. Do you guys remember back in Inquisition, obviously, with Cullen, who voices himself, but with Cullen's voice actor and fucking Iron Bull's voice actor being so tremendously problematic and far right, that they were just like never invited back. And there was this whole kickoff, like the devs at Bioware, I think, were openly arguing with Cullen's voice actor, whose name shall not be mentioned, but they were like openly fighting on Twitter at one point. There just seems to have been an awful lot of, for lack of a better word, disquiet, for tensions building within Bioware for years between people who are very right and for people who are very left, and it's all just coming to a head now, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's becoming harder and harder and harder for representation and for trans, non-binary people, people with disabilities, people of colour, women, to get a foothold on anything these days, just because of where everybody's mindset is. And we were getting a little bit of support for a while there, but unfortunately the right has always been the kind of mentality where if they don't like something, they're very openly vocal about it, and they will burn buildings down just to like destroy it. Whereas we're like, oh, okay, I don't like it, I'll just put it down. Like, hold on, I have a book here. I will pick the book up. Let me pick this book up a second. I will pick this book up. Maybe I will like this book. I will read the book. I don't like the book. I will close the book. And I will put the book down. And that's it. That's it. That's what you do. Not these people. These people then have to go online and be like, this book is trash, and if you like this book, you're a piece of trash. And then they go and hunt down people who like the book. They like type into Google, who likes this book? And then they will bombard the people who like this book with fucking rage, hate and stuff. Be like, how dare you like this book? This book is trash, and you're trash for liking this book. And then they'll go online and they'll make YouTube videos saying, this book is trash! Don't book this book! Walk is book! Book is walk! Unfortunately, that's what happened with Veilguard. They got very upset that you could press a button and be trans if you wanted to. And it's just a scapegoat now. A CEO will look at a game that didn't perform as well that it did, and instead of looking at the studio and how the studio is working and maybe saying, maybe we should have like did this or did that, they're like, no, it must be the wokeness. Get the woke out. Fire all the woke writers, or at least that's what it feels like to me. A trans YouTuber I follow said this, and it's becoming so true. She said, clear as throat, 2020 is the opening act for the next decade. Oh, fucking hell. I feel like we're just repeating a part of history that should not have been repeated. Lest we forget has never meant more in this current political climate than ever before. There is an awful lot of support for us out there though. Hey Eddie, I'm sorry if I missed it earlier. I hear a lot of people saying Dragon Age is dead after the layoffs. Is it true? The Dragon Age that we know, yes. Because if you lay off everybody, all of the writers that made Dragon Age, and you make a new one, Is it still the Dragon Age that we know and love? No. Will it be bad? I don't know. But Dragon Age as a fandom, Floofy just said it really well. The franchise as a fandom, no, Dragon Age is not dead. I'm going to be keeping it alive. I know a lot of people who are going to be keeping it alive. There are artists out there that are going to draw things. There are writers out there that are going to write things. I'm going to be playing Dragon Age. I'm going to be enjoying all of the pieces of Dragon Age that have existed up until this point. But unfortunately, from a Bioware perspective, I don't know if they will... I don't know what they'll do with Dragon Age, honestly. They're focusing on Mass Effect right now, and that's all they're focusing on. They're focusing on just Mass Effect. There's going to be no DLC for Veilguard. That's been confirmed for a while, and it looks to me like they are just switching over to Mass Effect. Now, I don't know if they're switching over to Mass Effect because they think that's where the money is, or if they're switching over to Mass Effect because the Mass Effect team that they have are the ones that are a little bit less inclusive, maybe? So that's why they got to stay. Who knows? It's all speculation. But unfortunately, we have to just do the whole wait and see thing. Does this mean no more future patches? Yes, I believe the final patch for Dragon Age: The Veilguard has been released, and then that's it. It's done. They're putting it to bed. I was about to say, do you think they kept the binary peeps? Yes, I do. Again, speculation, but I think they purged representation. I mean, I'm still going to be playing Inquisition. I want to do more lore videos. I want to do like a breakdown of Veilguard where I think it went wrong, and things that I liked about it. But so you'll still get Dragon Age content from me. Like, Dragon Age isn't going to be... This isn't the end of me doing Dragon Age stuff. So, I'm nervous about Mass Effect, but we'll see how it goes. Not saying that the people they kept are terrible. No, but that's yet to be seen. I guess it means Veilguard modding is about to get easier, not having to worry about patches breaking them. Yeah, actually, that's a very good way to look at it on the bright side. Veilguard's not what I hoped, but that doesn't mean it's all bad. Yeah, it's not what I hoped either. The problem that I had with Veilguard that I've been finding it very difficult to put into words. But when I went to California to do the demo, everything that I saw at the demo was good. But unfortunately, I think everything at the demo was the good bits. And there was a lot of it that I found boring. When I actually got access to like the full game. I still enjoyed it though. Like, people think that, oh, if you enjoyed it, then you must love everything about it. No. There are things that I don't like about Origins. There are things that I don't like about 2. There are things I don't like about Inquisition. And Inquisition is my favourite and still is my favourite to this day. There are things that I enjoyed about Veilguard. There were things that I didn't enjoy about Veilguard. Because that's just normal fucking life. Me saying that I really enjoyed Veilguard doesn't mean... that I'm saying it's the best game in the fucking world. It certainly was not. I was hoping it was going to be my favourite Dragon Age, and it wasn't. However, that fucking combat system... Oh. That fucking combat system! How do I take that combat system out of Veilguard and put it into Inquisition? I'll never play another game again, as long as I live. If I had that combat system in Inquisition, I'd never play another game. I loved Bone Daddy though. I just didn't like the tone. Bone Daddy's lovely. But it does feel very much like get it out the door. Like when I was playing Veilguard the second time and I was able to like sit down and process it and really work through what felt weird to me, it felt like get it out the door. And it didn't work. And now BioWare's like, well, we got it out the door. People didn't like it. Fire everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just seems so bizarre. And honestly, it's going down a path that I don't like. I'm not 100% sure where it's going. But I've got too many red flags going off around me. I've got too many, like, this feels off to me. really be fully on board with Bioware right now. And that's just my honest truth. Unfortunately, that's just where I am. I feel really bad because somebody said to me, Eddie, just as long as you're not worried, I'm not worried. I'm worried. I feel like it's a load of bollocks. I feel like BioWare are panicking, and I feel like they are struggling to find some kind of leverage out of where they are. But unfortunately, if that leverage is a lack of representation, then unfortunately it's not for me anymore. And unlike a lot of people on the internet, if something's not for me, I just bail. I just bail. I could see the bones. It just had a lot of the meat trimmed to produce it faster. It just felt like they didn't know fully what they were doing with it. And I'll make a breakdown video about Veilguard, about the things that I liked and disliked about it. But for me, roughly, it felt like they didn't know where it was going. And I feel like a lot of it just felt like they were like, yeah, that'll do. And I don't think it's 100% the dev's fault. I need people to remember that there's an environment that the devs are working in, the writers are working in, the level designers are working in, the concept artists are working in. They're all working underneath a higher up that has expectations and things. And they always like punch down with stuff like this. If a game doesn't do well, it's now no longer BioWare's problem. It must be the writers. And I don't know if they're firing the writers to try and to get in good with like gamers, but it just feels strange to me. It feels like a punch down. And I don't appreciate corporates that punch down. I don't appreciate that one fucking second. So if BioWare are turning into a corporation that punch down, I'm going to start punching up. I'm going to start punching up. However, pure speculation. Don't know. Are they pandering to the new political environment in America? They might be, but again, that's pure speculation. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. They are Canadian based, but EA is not. EA is not. And if they think... The funny thing about this is, and I'm so sorry, this is Schadenfreude. This is complete Schadenfreude, and I know that it is, and I'm really sorry. The funny thing about this is if BioWare want to pander to the anti-woke crowd, but still produce a lackluster game, the anti-woke crowd are going to eat them alive. And then they'll have no one to blame but themselves. They've fired everybody fucking else. They can't blame their fucking writers. They're not there. I mean, obviously there are Mass Effect writers and stuff that are there as well. Are they going to get reprimanded next? Is the punch down going to be on them? Is the punch down going to be on the consumer for not liking the game enough? Like, where's the next punch down going to be? Representation is gone now. I don't know if there's even going to be like a gay romance in Mass Effect. You'd hope there would be. But what if there isn't? What if all representation leaves Mass Effect? All representation. And the game still fails. The game still isn't a good story, doesn't perform well. It turns out to be like everything that EA thinks that gamers want. The anti-woke crowd will rip them apart. So if they and I'll sit here with popcorn, I'll be like, I never thought I would be like, right lads, on you go, but the anti-woke crowd don't give a shit. If you are pandering to them and you still produce a mediocre, lackluster game, they're still going to rip you to fucking shreds. So hell fucking mend them. Hell mend them. But that's all speculation. Who do they blame then? If Mass Effect still fails, who are they going to blame then? BioWare has thrown their devoted fans into the trash. That's what it fucking feels like. But that's what it feels like, though. I would love for the Dragon Age IP to go to Larian. I know they would treat it well. Is it BioWare though, or is it EA? It's. I think people forget that that's the general manager of BioWare. And unless EA are holding like a gun to his head and telling him to write like this, that's the general manager of BioWare that wrote this. And as a general manager of BioWare, surely if EA aren't serving your employees well, surely you would be the first person to be like, this isn't working for us. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I think he's in on it. But again, pure speculation. Pure speculation. I think the higher ups at BioWare are just as culpable for this as EA are. But it depends in which direction they go. But I'm very skeptical of Mass Effect right now. Very skeptical. I don't know what they're going to do with it. Tell you what I'm most pissed off about. Morden Solus. Tali was a co-writer, I believe. Jack, Kasumi Goto, I believe these might have been co-writers as well. Samantha Traynor, as well as the Rannoch and Tuchanka plotlines in Mass Effect 3. Obviously, the Tuchanka one being the most heart-wrenching story I have ever experienced in a video game. No one has had a dry eye during the Mass Effect 3 Tuchanka plotline with Morden, our scientist Solarian. Even if you didn't cry up here, you cried in fucking here, mate. Anyone who tells me that they didn't feel anything during that plotline is a red flag to me. I have never experienced such a devastating piece of writing in my life that has affected me in such a horrendous way that I literally have Morden everywhere around my fucking room. Trick, man. The Tuchanka plotlines in Mass Effect 3, these beloved games were written by this person here. Or at least co-written. And now, what are we going to get? What are we going to get? Is Mass Effect 5 going to have the same heart? Is it going to have the same depth? Is it going to have the same connection? Is it just going to be bang bang pew pew, bang bang lady alien? Do you know what I mean? Like, what? Obviously, I think Mass Effect 5 might be set so far into the future that all of these characters, bar obviously Liara and the other characters that live for like thousands of years, will be dead. So they don't even have to worry about it. It could potentially be a complete clean slate for new writers and concepts and developments to come in and start fresh, which is either a really good thing or an absolutely fucking god-awful thing, depending on what they do with it. But I can kiss my fucking Solarian ace romance goodbye, can't I? You guys ever wanted to date a Krogan? Fuck you. You don't get your fucking Krogan. I will never get to hold hands with a Solarian, I can guarantee it. Which, hey, do you know what? I can write my own fucking Mass Effect stories about Solarians. It's totally fine. But I would have liked an opportunity just to see if they were up for the challenge of writing an ace relationship. And honestly, I'm just like, what is the point? What is the point in hoping anymore? I think this is the first time in a long time that I'm not looking forward to what BioWare produces. I'm looking back. I'm going back and revisiting the Dragon Age franchise up until now. I'm going back and reliving all my favourite things about Mass Effect. I'm going back to fan fiction. I'm going back to my cosplays and stuff. And we're just going to have to see where it goes. Unfortunately. It could be fantastic. For all we know, the next Mass Effect is going to be incredible. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the next Mass Effect was a bastardization of AI, exclusion, multiplayer online platform, bang bang pew pew, big tits. I wouldn't be surprised. And hey, I like tits as much as the next fucking guy. But I also like a good fucking story that was written by human beings. I have no idea how Mass Effect is going to work with the ending. I don't think they care. I don't even know if they remember the ending. So let's find a new hyperfixation tomorrow. No! I will always hyperfixate over Dragon Age, but now it's going to be more of a lament of what Dragon Age once was and what it will never be again. But hey,